good evening, my friends. It's a lovely Saturday night. I hope you all have had a lovely day. And we are going to begin November with playing a few visual novels. The first one that I have is one called Tailor Tales, and it is about romance in the world of fashion. So without further ado, let's see here. I need to make sure that I'm capturing the right window. All right, give me a quick moment while I make sure this fits. Haha, make sure it fits. Ha 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 ha. All right, we would not like to skip the intro. Can you all hear this? It's very quiet. How about this? So I guess these are the lovely young bachelors that you are going to be meeting. Look, all right. You met each other online, but he catfished you? So, 6 lovely young men don't know who to pick. Click here to take a quiz. Well, don't mind if I do. Character route quiz. Which setting do you prefer? Fantasy or modern? I would prefer fantasy. Would you prefer a comedic route or a serious one? I feel I'm in the mood for excuse me, comedic things. Oh dear, I have a little hairball in my throat, although it's not really hair, it's a glob of gelatin. A fast-paced or slow burn? I like a good slow burn, do you? How much sexual or steamy content would you prefer? Ooh, oh boy. We're gonna have to... I mean, I know what I want to answer. Do you prefer the love interest to be submissive or dominant? Ooh. And I just hit no on steamy content. Do you prefer the love interest to be older or younger? Nice from the start or indifferent and takes a while to warm up? I like them nice. How do you prefer your main character to act? I guess she will be playful. Do you think focus on developing side characters is important? I think so. Are you okay with the love interest belittling or insulting the main character? Oh, like, tsundere? No. Do you prefer a love interest that blushes a lot? Oh my. Do you prefer a confident or insecure love interest? Confident. Gray Jansen. You got Gray Jansen based on your answers. Gray used to be your rival gang leader back in high school. His route deals with deception and gangs. Because Gray is still in development, the next route recommendation would be James. Okay, so Neil. Kane. Oh my. Okay, route length 12 hours, 230k words. In an alternate universe where people have special powers, you are the one that designs superhero costumes for the superheroes. One day, someone literally crash lands outside of your boutique. He's gravely injured. You quickly help him out and fix him up with your own special ability. His superhero suit looks strange, though. You've never seen him around before. Who is this man with the ability to fly? Oh. In Tailor Tales, you play a young woman who has just opened her own boutique. You can determine her skin, hair, and eye color by using the color swatches on the left of the icons. These choices will reflect in special CGs that will appear throughout the story, so choose wisely. Don't forget to equip your free starter shirt, skirt, and sandals. Alright, so it looks like we can design our character. Let's see. Let's see. Give her green eyes. We only have one hairstyle. You know what? We'll make her look a little fantastical. Alright, she is completed. And her name is Joselina. Okay. Joselina? I don't really like this. Well, my Michelle. Hearth. You know what? I like that. Michelle Hearth. And the boutique name? Royalty. Welcome to the main menu. To start off on your journey, why don't you read the first chapter by clicking on the continue button on your right. Oh no, that's cute. Warnings and triggers. Tailor Tales is a light-hearted game, but each route brings its own unique set of warnings and triggers. Would you like to review these? I think we'll be fine. Before you begin your story, would you like to review the controls? As you'll play the story, you'll sometimes be prompted with a fierce/kind choice. They will determine which ending you'll get. Fierce choices are usually more bold and flirty. Kind choices are usually more reserved and thoughtful. Neither choice is the right one, so pick whichever one you like. And this is just talking about... Okay, so I am going to adjust the volume. What is my brother's name? Ralph? No, let's see. As far as the eye can see, there's gorgeous fabric to be found everywhere, from the most luxurious silk to the cheapest organza. It's all here at the market. I adjust my scarf as a particularly cold wind blows by. It's in the middle of winter. This place is where I truly come to peace. I'm in my element. Colors, textures, patterns, I'm already formulating my next designs in my head. A particular iridescent piece of fabric catches my eye. It changes colors when you look at it from a certain angle. It reminds me a little of the way the 80s movies created space outfits. Everything had to be shiny back then. Excuse me, I call out to the woman behind the stall who was in the middle of talking to her companion. Yes, dear. Would you like this one? Yes, 4 meters will do. The woman takes the iridescent fabric roll off my hands and starts measuring how much she needs to cut. You know, this fabric reminds me of Starlight's costume, says the woman. Starlight, a superhero whose outfit I didn't design. Someone else got to her first. She has the power to brighten any kind of light source and quite literally blind you. Oh, excuse me. Is that so? I say casually.
Huh?
Isn't it just weird how they're walking among us like normal people? It could be any one of us, she mutters in a dark tone. I don't like where this conversation is going.
Huh.
Why do they hide? I don't like that anyone can just, hide a really dangerous power. She cuts the fabric to my specifications. I pull the scarf over my nose to hide my disgust. So do I want to be fierce or kind? I'm going to be fierce. They wouldn't have to hide their identity if people didn't try to ruin their normal lives. I fire back. Imagine if everyone knew the identity of a superhero. There would be so much hatred and chaos. Lives would be uprooted entirely. Let's just agree to disagree, she says. Yes, agree to disagree about pineapple on pizza. The woman flashes a fake smile at me as she bags the fabric.
Oh.
That'll be $44.95, sweetheart. I pay the woman her money and quickly disappear from the stall. Suddenly, I don't feel so in my element after all. I'm going to need to take a quick break. If you could hold off for just a few minutes. apologies. Alright, so we're getting back to the visit to the stall. Time to leave before the blizzard starts. Oh dear. Phew, finally got back to royalty before the blizzard started. Hey, Michelle. Kim greets me from behind the counter. Oh, she's cute. Hey, Kim, did anyone stop by today? Yep, look who's back. Kim plops down a piece of fabric onto the counter. I immediately recognize the outfit and sigh loudly. Again? I complain. That's like the third time this week. Yeah, he told me he tore it while scaling a mountain, she explains with a roll of her eyes. Grabbing the outfit from the counter, I inspect it for any tears. I didn't have to look long, the culprit is staring right in my face. The midriff has been torn open. What in the world? These look like claw marks. Did he fight a damn mountain lion up there? Do supers not have anything better to do? I say exasperatedly. Oh. Kim shrugs. He swears he was trailing someone who stole an old lady's purse. On a mountain? I repeat incredulously. The Lasher sure knows how to concoct extravagant stories for his adventures. Last time he said he tore it while swimming on the back of a shark. It's why the fans love him after all, Kim points out. Anyways, can you fix it? I let the fabric slide through my fingers, focusing on holes that I can fix manually without having to recut any new patterns. I wiggle my finger until a fine piece of thread emerges from the tip. It's so thin normal people usually have a hard time seeing it. I manipulate it until it pierces the fabric, making it loop around to quickly stitch up a small hole. No matter how many times I see you do it, it's always so interesting to see it in action, says Kim in awe. I cut off the thread so that it's no longer attached to me and neatly tie it up. Now for the rest. A loud explosion rumbles from underneath me. What in the world? I yell, completely startled. The rumbling brings down a few items on my counter. Is this an earthquake? Kim ducks and covers her head as the shelf behind her falls down. The shaking finally stops. Kim, are you okay? I'm fine. I think it came from below, I finish for her. We both come to a realization. Stewie, Kim groans. Go back to work, Kim. I'll check up on Stewie, I say. All right, let me know if I need to call an ambulance or not. I give her a wry smile. Kim exits the room and I sigh out loud. What is Stewie doing now? I knew it was suspiciously quiet. I should have checked up on him sooner. I enter the hallway and walk all the way to the back, opening a small door underneath the staircase. It's the entrance to my brother's lab. There's soot all over the floor. I'm leaving footprints behind as I walk inside the lab. Lots of people are on the floor. I'm panicking a little until I see two people sitting at the metal desk. Stewie! I cry out. What happened? Stewie just looks at me with a shrug. His hair is standing up in different directions. I'm just a little shocked, he says jokingly. The person next to him knocks him over the head. Idiot, now is not the time for your stupid puns. Kane berates my brother. Kane? I question. What are you doing here? Your brother asked me to come. I knew I shouldn't have. You guys are crazy, Kane huffs. Wait, why am I getting lumped into this? I ask. What did you do this time, Stewie? Nothing. Why are all eyes on me? Stewie puts his hands up and tries to look innocent. Stewie sighs when he realizes I'm not buying into his act, then picks up a metal ring from the floor. I was trying to get this bracelet to harness Kane's electricity. I figured I could harvest it and perhaps create an infinitely generating power source. Stewie gets hit over the head again by Kane. Moron, I told you that's not how it works. I can't keep generating electricity without pulling it from my own energy. Eventually I get tired too, then I collapse from exhaustion. Kane simply looks frustrated with my brother. And then it blew up in your face. You know that shit is dangerous. I could have lost my license, you know. Stewie shrugs, patting his hair back to normal. Not bad. I was grounded. I'm fine. I groan out loud. No, Kane's right. Don't toy around like that. I don't want to bury my younger brother as well, all right? A serious look dawns on Stewie's face as the words sink in, but he quickly replaces it with a pout. Who else will come up with these nifty little gadgets then, huh? Good evening, M-Disc Playlist. I hope you are doing well tonight. Kane smirks. I have to admit, your tracking device came in really handy last time. Right? Stewie points finger guns at Kane. I roll my eyes at the two of them. They're always up to no good. Now someone has to clean up the mess that they made. There's soot everywhere. The stench isn't all that great either. Other than fighting allergies and too many home chores, I am well, Your Majesty. Yes, it is that time of year, unfortunately. I believe my loyal subjects had to do some homework today, and they were left fairly sickened by having to clean up a bunch of detritus. I point at the floor. Stewie, you made this mess, so clean it up. Stewie groans and slouches his shoulders, but nonetheless walks towards the broom closet to get some cleaning supplies. Kane hops up on the metal desk and casually brings his hand up to his face. He holds his index finger and thumb together until a spark of electricity ignites between them. He keeps doing this until there's a steady stream of electricity going back and forth between his fingers. By the way, speaking of licenses, when are you getting yours? He asks nonchalantly, playing around with his ability. You've been asking me for years, I say with a heavy sigh. And I'm asking you again. Not everyone wants to be a superhero, Kane, I reply. Stewie returns with a broom and starts sweeping the floor. Don't bother, Michelle is pretty stubborn. Kane stops playing with his fingers, suddenly looking serious. Yeah, but come on, unlike your moronic brother. I resent that, Stewie interjects. You actually have an ability that could be useful in combat. That doesn't mean it should be used in combat, I fire back. There are plenty of ways someone could use their abilities for the greater good without having to pick fights with bad guys. Stewie shuffles away with the broom. But you're just some lame-ass tailor, Kane groans. That's not exciting in the least. Irritation spreads across my face. Kane is really getting on my nerves now. He's insulting my work and calling it boring. There's nothing wrong with being a fashion designer. I don't see you complaining when I'm the one who makes your superhero costume. I fold my arms across my chest and glare at him. That's different, he says flippantly. You're still just using it on clothes. His eyes then widen as he realizes something. Oh, I've got it. The perfect superhero name for you. Kane grins, then spreads out his arms. Black Widow, he says with a chuckle. I just stare at him blankly. Also, hasn't that been taken? Do I look like a spider to you? Hey, don't mock the name. Don't you know this one superhero, Spider Boy? He shoots webs. From his butt. Same difference. That is one huge of a difference, I protest. I don't shoot weird web stuff from my butt. My thread is highly sophisticated. It's nothing like a web. Isn't it just the same thing? Kane cocks his head to the side. No, webs are sticky. My thread is not. I've seen you attach that stuff to anything. What do you mean it's not sticky? Have I been living a lie all this time? Kane questions. Fed up with his attitude, I huff at him. Sew his mouth shut with your thread? Oh, dearie, dearie me. I'm sewing his mouth shut. Spider butt web, what now? Well, I mean, this is an alternate universe story, so Spider-Man doesn't have those... Well, it's not Spider-Man, it's Spider-Boy, so of course he would shoot it from his butt. And I am going to sew his mouth shut. My fingertips glow hot, and I spread a thin thread between my index fingers. I control the thread, feeling its every move, and I make quick work of Kane's lips. The thread pierces his skin undetected. It's fast, and it zigzags until it's completely sewed his mouth shut. Kane tries to speak, but finally realizes he can't open his mouth. He looks at me in horror. That, Kane, is the difference. My thread doesn't stick. It pierces, I explain smugly. Kane claws at his mouth, trying to tear it open, but is unable to do anything. Stewie sighs behind us. Michelle, don't torture my test subject. I sigh, then press my finger against Kane's lips. The thread dissolves immediately. Kane opens his jaws right open, testing out whether or not he can move his lips again. He glares at me. What did you do that for? That's traumatizing. Kane then points at Stewie, and it's not comforting to be referred to as a test subject. Stewie gives him a quizzical look. Did I ever refer to you as anything else? I was pretty upfront about it. I sigh. Look, I'm happy with my job. I like making clothes. I don't need to fight crime or save the earth with my powers. Not everyone needs to be a superhero like you do. I don't particularly enjoy hiding my identity as well. Kane pouts at me. I just wanted to see you swing around the city like Spider-Boy. Stewie is the one that laughs. Dude, no, you're not going to see Michelle zip around like that. Besides, I wouldn't allow it. I place my hands on my hips. Oh, you wouldn't allow me to be a superhero. Since when do you have that right? Since I'm your brother and have to look out for you. With a somber look, Stewie's eyes are cast down towards the ground. We're the only ones left, he mutters. There's a sudden tension in the air, and I try to prevent myself from remembering my own past. I put on a courageous smile. How about you worry about yourself? You almost got electrocuted by Kane when I walked in. Stewie shrugs. That's different. Sometimes experiments go wrong. I just want to point out that I'm immune to electricity. It can't shock me. So, yeah, it may very well kill only you, says Kane. Alright, enough talking. Give me some of your juice. I need to power up this bracelet. Still? You've already sucked me dry enough. Stewie grimaces. Dude, do you ever think about the words that are coming out of your mouth? Phrasing! I laugh in response. I don't think he ever does. Kane ends up blushing once he realizes what he said. Shut up! Go back upstairs already. Just as he says that, the intercom beeps. Kim's voice booms through the laboratory. Everyone's ears perk up to listen closely. Guys, do we own any flying ships? She asks in an unsure tone. Stewie walks up to the intercom and presses down a button to reply. The Forrester Incorporation owns several of them, yes. Why? They should have the Forrester logo on them then, no? Kim asks. That is correct, Stewie replies. What's going on? Kim would never bother us unless it was something urgent. She's there to run the storefront, nothing more. Then this giant ship flying over Cleaner right now is definitely not one of ours. The three of us look at each other in silence. Wait, a flying ship that isn't from Forrester, Inc.? Dr. Forrester? And TV's Frank? Do you have any cameras outside? Kane asks urgently. None that point towards the sky, Stewie grumbles, hastily walking towards the exit. Are we under attack? I question, nervous about this unidentified ship. Stewie's silence speaks volumes, and I'm suddenly on high alert. I rush over towards the table with the intercom, slamming my finger down on the button. Kim, get down here, now! Alarms suddenly go off in the lab. The sirens outside can be heard wailing. My stomach churns uncomfortably as I realize something bad is about to happen. The lab is underground. We should be relatively safe here in case of an attack. However, Stewie and Kane are making their way towards the exit. They want to see what's going on. An ear-deafening blast can be heard from above ground. The laboratory starts to shake, and all three of us fall down from the shockwave. Oh my. The lab rumbles and trembles from the aftershock, dust falling from the ceiling. They're definitely not friendly, Kane cries out. I can hear Kim's groans. She's at the staircase. I want to rush over, but Kane stops me. Stay here. This lab is just like a bunker. Don't do anything stupid. Let me handle it. He then turns to Stewie. Notify the rest of the squad. When push comes to shove, no matter how immature Kane can be, in emergencies, he's always someone you can count on. He quickly bolts through the doors, leaving us alone in the lab. Stewie turns on his heel and begins to furiously type on his cell phone, notifying the other members. Then he tunes in on the news channel. They're broadcasting breaking news at the moment. Kim bursts inside the room, nearly coughing up a lung. Kim, are you all right? Yeah, there's just a lot of dust in the air right now. What did you see? I ask her. The ship, it shot down a building. It's still hovering directly above us. I'm so scared. Kim crouches down onto the floor, clamping her hands over the sides of her ears. I bend down to comfort her. You're safe here, Kim. Let the superheroes do their work. I'm trying to stay strong for her since Kim is younger than me, but I can't deny that I'm scared as well. Honestly, I'm really worried about Kane. He already looked tired. Is he even able to fend for himself? Then I walk over towards Stewie and I look at the TV screen. With my own eyes, I see the images of what's happening above. Though it's hard to spot due to the snowstorm, there's a giant ship suspended in the air. It's unlike anything I've seen before. It's a pearly white color, and it looks very sleek in its design. Stewie shuts off the alarm so we're able to hear the TV. Stewie, who else other than us has the technology to create those? I ask him. Other than Forrester Inc. and Store, I don't think anyone else does. Stewie looks stunned. He's trying his best to recognize the vehicle. But that's not one of ours, and Store has only created small ships. But they wouldn't be able to create a ship of that size. Stewie brings his hand to his mouth, tapping his finger against his lip in contemplation. In fact, I've never seen such designs before. Someone must have been building this in secret. Immediately, I think of the terrorist group, Julio. Anxiety and disgust whirls up inside me as I suppress my painful memories. Do you think it's Julio? I asked. Are they planning on attacking superheroes again? Stewie grows quiet. I don't know. Maybe. The news broadcaster is saying the ship suddenly appeared over Cleaner and fired a missile at a large office building. Luckily, the casualties are low because it's Sunday, so there weren't many people in the building. And I'm hoping that this is not a reference to the original dub of Dragon Ball Z. Still, that's right near where we live. I really hope Kane is okay. Kim joins us and she points at the TV screen, which is displaying a live feed of what's happening. Look, they're there. On the screen, we can see several superheroes show up. It's a little hard to see it through all the snow, but I recognize a couple of them. I've designed their costumes after all. There's a bunch that are unknown to me as well. At least one superhero is flying around, and I believe I spot Spider-Boy swinging around. From his butt, I don't see Kane, I murmur softly. I spoke too soon because a huge lightning bolt appeared from the sky and blasts the front of the ship. Ah, Kane, don't be reckless. If that thing falls down, you're going to create even more casualties. Stewie sighs with a worried tone. But look, the ship seems unharmed, I point out. Shield technology. This is very sophisticated. We all go quiet once we see the ship open up the bottom, and dozens of little objects come flying out. It's hard to tell what they are when there's snow everywhere. What are those? Kim shrieks. Drones? Stewie says, but he's unsure. I lean in closer to the TV. No, I think they're people. A lightning bolt blows one of them up, and then we can clearly see the pilot fall from his hovercraft. Thank goodness, it seems the smaller ships don't have any shields on them. But wait, did I see that correctly? Did you see that too? I ask. Yeah, their skin is red, Kim finishes. All of them are. See? A shared ability? A family, perhaps? This is unusual. Sometimes people are born with deformities because of their abilities, and they're certainly not unique to each person. But so many of them together? Stewie questions. This is getting even more confusing. It doesn't seem to be the work of Julio, but I can't be too sure. Who would openly attack Cleaner like this? The news reporter says that everyone is fighting back against the smaller hovercrafts, but their numbers are too great for everyone to handle. Damn it, Kane already used up a lot of his powers just now. Stewie grits his teeth. That's my fault. Oh no, Kim gasps. Is Kane going to be all right? I clench my hand into a fist. I know I'm not a superhero. I'm not suited for combat one bit, but I can't sit here idly twiddling my thumbs as one of my best friends fights on his own. What if people need medical attention? I ask. Michelle, you're not thinking what I'm thinking, right? Stay here. The lab is safe. I narrow my eyes at him. What if it was Kane bleeding out on the streets? Would you still say the same thing? Stewie presses his lips into a thin line and furrows his eyebrows together. He can't quite argue back with that, as we both care about Kane. I know first aid. I can be of some use. I'm no superhero, but I can make sure no one dies under my watch. Let me see here. Give me 1 second, I need to check something. With that in mind, I grab my coat and rush out of the lab. I can hear Stewie cry out behind me. When I've made my way outside, the blizzard stings my eyes, making it hard to see. That's a very light blizzard. I look up, being able to spot the giant hanging in the sky. It's hovering above the city, a slight distance away from the boutique. I'm standing in the shadow that it casts. It's humongous. It's sleek and doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. It's definitely not one of our ships, so who is it? Who is attacking Cleaner? I can't help but think about Julio. What if it's them after all? They're back with another huge attack? I can't just stand by this time. I don't want to be helpless. I can see the small hovercrafts zooming about the place, some of them shooting bullets down below. I'm out of the immediate dinner area, but I'm still not completely safe. Someone out there may need help, though. I just hope it isn't Kane. Judging by the lightning bolts in the sky, he's doing just fine. Just then, I see something in the sky approaching me, fast. Snow whirls around at an enormous speed. I focus my eyes, easily being able to identify what it is from a large distance. It's a superhero, and he looks knocked out. Oh no, if he falls at this height, he's going to die on impact. Quick, I need to do something. He's headed this way and will land in just a few seconds. My adrenaline gets pumped, forcing my body to react on instinct. I shoot a thread out to a lamppost, then to another lamppost, and quickly start to weave a net in between. He's coming closer. Crap, I'm not done yet. This net will barely hold. I focus even harder, forcing myself to manipulate several different threads from all of my fingertips, until I've made a sizable net in between the street's lamps. So she's Kira Lillian! And not a second was wasted, but because the superhero crashes inside of the net stretches out. Luckily enough, it doesn't tear as it distributes the momentum of his fall. I quickly whirl my thread around the person himself to make sure he doesn't go flying out of the other way like some kind of catapult. He wiggles back and forth in the netting until he finally comes to a stop. I sigh out in relief. I caught him. I look at my handiwork and cringe. Kane is never going to let me live it down when I tell him I caught someone from near certain death by spinning a web like a spider. It'll just be my little secret, for now. First things first, I have to see if he's all right. I jog over towards the netting, dissolving it as I come closer, gently lowering him down into the snow. The superhero is a tall man clad in a black outfit with red and gold accents. I don't recognize his costume at all, especially since it's torn to shreds. It's like something burned him because I can see it's charred in some places. A mop of messy black hair covers up the rest of his face. The most important thing, he's breathing, but also bleeding. I have to get him inside. Using my thread, I create a makeshift stretcher and drag the man inside the boutique. Stewie, help me out! I call out for him when I'm at the stairs. Stewie quickly comes to my help, sees the man I'm dragging behind, and lifts an eyebrow. Who the hell is this? He asks. Does it matter? He's hurt. Help me put him on the table. What if it's the enemy? Well, he's not red, is he? Come help me. Stewie doesn't complain anymore and swiftly helps me put the man on the metal table. However, he's so heavy, Kim has to come help us as well. It's one thing to drag the man, it's another to lift him entirely. When he's flat on the table, I get a good look at him. Now what? Asks Stewie. I'll get the first aid kit, Kim explains, running off. I quickly look over his torso, which has burns and a million little cuts. It doesn't look good. Something was attacking him before. Was it those red men? They looked so creepy on TV. I place both my hands on his chest, grabbing what's left of the charred fabric and tear it in half. The costume split, sparing his naked and burned torso. It's easier to work when clothes aren't in the way. I lean closer to the man's face. Hey, can you hear me? The stoic expression remains on the man's face. He's completely out of it. While he's covered in burn marks, the most pressing matter is a large cut on the right side of his waist. He's bleeding from it rather badly. Kim hands me the first aid kit. She tends to the burn wounds while I clean his open wound. Completely focused on the job, I touch his tanned skin with my fingers, forming a thread that eventually pierces it. The man remains passed out and doesn't notice as I stitch up his wound. I puncture his skin back and forth, creating a very clean stitch. In no time, the wound is sealed. Checking his body for any more open wounds, I notice he's only got smaller cuts that are easily cleaned and need only a bandage, if at all. The burns, on the other hand, covered across his body, are another matter entirely. I'm not a real doctor. He will need to go to the hospital for this. The only thing Kim and I can do is cool it and dress it with bandages for now. I sigh in relief when I'm finally finished with my first aid. At least the bleeding has stopped. Michelle, look, we're winning. They're falling back, says Stewie as he points towards the TV. That's good. Have you seen Kane? I'm unsure. They haven't said anything about the death toll yet. Hearing that makes me even more worried. No, Kane can handle himself. I still saw his lightning not too long ago. He won't go out without putting up a damn good fight. There's no way they got to Kane. I won't believe it. By the way, do you recognize this guy? I asked Stewie, pointing at the man in front of me. I seriously don't know. Aren't you the one that's supposed to recognize them all, considering you're the one designing most of these costumes? I shake my head. I don't provide for every single superhero, you know. Can't you look him up in the database? If he's a superhero, he has to be registered, Kim suggests. Sure, I can look at that later. What's important now is nursing him back to health until he wakes up. I've taken care of most of his wounds, but he does need a trip to the hospital. We just have to wait until he wakes up. I lean closer to him, studying him. The burns are scattered across his torso like a lightning bolt. I wonder who this man is. I can't help myself as my hands reach out to his face. I brush away his black hair, revealing his closed eyes, and... Wait! My fingers trail along the grooves of his ear. His pointy, elf-like ear. Sometimes superheroes have abilities that affect their appearance. I've once seen a woman with polka dots all over her body like she was some kind of Dalmatian. Another time I saw someone whose skin was like literal slime. However, this is the first time I've ever seen someone with pointed ears. It doesn't appear to be a body mod of some kind. It looks natural. It's kind of fascinating. Wait, they're saying something on TV, says Stewie all of a sudden. Absent-mindedly, I trace my finger along the tip of his ear. It's really long. How come I didn't notice it before? What? They're saying it's not Julio? Stewie exclaims loudly. I look back down at the man. I'm startled when dark brown eyes pierce me with such an intense gaze that it rattles me to my core. Don't touch my ear! The man swiftly gets up from the table, planting both feet firmly on the ground. I don't have time to react as he approaches me. In an instant, I'm suspended in the air as the man grabs me by the throat, squeezing it. I can't breathe! Well, let go! I try to say. However, the man doesn't listen and keeps me up in the air, tightening his grip on my throat. Let go of my sister! Stewie screams. The man gets knocked out of the way as Stewie charges into him. He releases his hold on me, and I collapse onto the floor. I inhale a large gust of air to fill my lungs with oxygen. Take that! Kim yells as she throws a roll of bandages at the man. I pick myself up. Stop! We're not trying to hurt you. I helped patch your wounds up, I explain, coughing up for air still. He must be disoriented. Maybe he thinks we're trying to attack him. The man stands his ground, tall and menacing, before he looks down at the bandage on his waist, as well as the rest of the bandages covering his burns. His tense eyes meet mine again, and I feel a lump form in my throat. I don't know why his gaze makes me feel a chill run down my spine. See, I did the stitches, I say nervously, pointing at his side. Unexpectedly, the man rips off the bandages from his waist, revealing his freshly stitched wound. Don't! You have to keep the wound dressed, I say. His dark eyes travel from the wound, then back to me, as if he's silently asking me if I really did stitch him up. Please, calm down. Let me help you. I cautiously walk towards him. I hold my hands up to make myself seem as non-threatening as possible. We're not here to hurt you, so please, let me put the bandages back on. As I take a step forwards, I can hear Stewie cry out in surprise. He's pointing at the TV in shock. That's him! I turn around away from the man to see what Stewie is talking about. My eyes widen when I spot the screen. They're replaying a clip from the attack. A man wearing a black with red and gold armor flying around in the air, battling the superheroes. He gets struck down by a lightning bolt and soars off into the distance. The reporter says the ship appeared from the sky. It came from space. It's an alien ship. I feel horror wash over me. It's an alien! Stewie cries out. Suddenly, his breath is running down my neck, causing all the little hairs to stand up straight. You, his voice croaks out, saved me? I don't dare to turn my head to face him. I can feel my heart racing 1,000 miles per minute. This man I saved is not a man at all. You, get away from her, screams Stewie, going for another charge attack. However, before Stewie can even do anything, the man knocks Stewie away with a single punch. Stewie crashes into the wall and drops down onto the floor, unconscious. Kim hurriedly runs over to him in a panic. I'm forcibly turned around as he yanks on my arm, making me stand in front of him, face to face. You, he points to the stitches. Did that? I can't speak. My body is frozen. He hurt Stewie. He's the one that attacked the city. What do I do? How do I take down a man of his size all on my own? Yes, I reply. Maybe if I comply, he won't hurt us and leave us alone. I don't know what he's going to do. Please, don't hurt us, I beg him. The man doesn't seem to be listening, though, an ice-cold and calculated expression etched onto his face. Before I know it, he's thrown me over his shoulder, then launches himself into the air. Hey! I cry out, pounding my fists onto his back. Unfazed by my attacks, he keeps scaling higher. Wait, what's going on? He goes straight towards the ceiling, blasting a hole in it, as he flies straight up, with me on his shoulder. The impact of the ceiling, and several other floors in between, causes me to black out. My last thoughts before I lose consciousness are, this is not a superhero. He's a villain. Oh my. You finished reading your first chapter. Any chapters you've read will become unlocked, and you can reread them at whenever you want. Find unlocked chapters in the chapter selection by clicking on the cogwheel, select characters, and click the character you wish to read. Then click story to see the chapter selection. To continue the next chapter, you'll need to pay for it in gold. To earn gold, you must design clothes for clients. Click on the design button in the top right, then select clients. You're also free to design anything for yourself by selecting freestyle. But for now, let's go to the clients. My voice is getting quite tired, Purunia. Okay, let's see. Anything's fine, says Serini. Let's see. just looking at the other eligible bachelors. Okay, well, honestly, I feel like I probably shouldn't do any more talking, because my voice is getting quite hoarse. Perhaps I should end things off a little early. I do apologize, but I want to be in tip-top shape if I'm going to be doing a lot of talking. Let's see. Who is streaming at this time that we can raid? I know who we can raid. My dear, dear friend, Milkabe. Alright everyone, thank you very much for joining me, and I do appreciate you coming by. We will continue this on Monday. My servant, Jewelry Jelly, will be rejoining you, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your weekend. Have a good night, and may all of your tea times be perfect.